Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is March 28th and this is my weekly shop update. So first off, just to let you know, I have t-shirts back in stock. I have this style, the Fro shirt, the Cremona shirt, or flat mat as some people call it. And I also have the logo tees as well. So if they were sold out before you were able to get one last time, those are available over on my store once again. And to let you know, once again, in case you haven't heard already, I will be in Atlanta this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Video Woodworkers booth at the woodworking shows. That is going to be a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. There is also a meetup planned for Saturday night as well. So if you want some more details about the show and everything that's going on, when everyone's going to be at the booth, you can head over to videowoodworkers.com and you can get all the details you need right there. Next is kind of a somewhat large announcement, I suppose. This coming September, I will be a speaker at the Woodworking in America conference. This is pretty exciting for me because I am going to be speaking amongst, or being a presenter amongst, some really amazing and talented people that I personally look up to. So just being offered that opportunity is just huge for me. So if you're planning on going this year, it'd be awesome if you were to come to one of my sessions. I have 3 sessions this year. The first one is on making your own lumber. So I do that quite a bit. So I'll be doing a session about that. The second session is going to be on risk mitigation in woodworking, and not safety reasons or anything like that. It's the safety of your work pieces. So a lot of my work, I'm sure you've seen, a lot of the stuff I do, my work pieces are either one of a kind or they're part of a set. If I screw up one of them, I have to go find a new piece to do the whole set over again. So a lot of my techniques and my methods, as you've probably seen as I've worked, and maybe you haven't noticed, they are a little bit slower and a little more methodical. And they are that way for a reason. It's so that I don't have as great of an opportunity to make a mistake that's going to set me back a lot. So that's going to be a very interesting session, I think, if I can make it interesting. And then the last session, which will be on Sunday, is going to be on working with difficult greens. Specifically, working with difficult greens, picking out interesting grain patterns to put into your work, and then working with like crotch figure, because I work with a lot of crotch figures. So we'll be talking about interesting ways to approach working with stuff like that. So those are going to be my 3 sessions. I'm really looking forward to that as well, and also extremely nervous because that's going to be my first time presenting in person in public. And my greatest fear is public speaking. And so yeah, it should be interesting. So if you do attend, you'll get to see me presenting for the first time in public and doing probably the most terrifying thing of my life. So regardless, it should be very entertaining. All right, let's get into some viewer projects. This first project I have is from Peter. This is just a crazy coffee table. This is a Jeep Grille coffee table. The top is shaped like the grill on a Jeep, and the legs are a bent lamination. I think this is actually a really cool design, very unique. The top and the base are both made out of red oak, and the top has an iron acetate dye applied, so it gets a darker look, or really like an ebonized look, compared to the legs, which are left natural. Peter also has a few other builds over on his website that you can take a look at. There'll be a link to that in the description. Next up is the timeline table by Andrew. This thing is really cool. Andrew did a video on his YouTube channel about making this table, and it's just such a great idea. So Andrew had a couple of ash trees removed from his front yard, and those trees had been there since the time the house was built. They predated the house actually, because when the construction company came in to build all the homes, they left the trees on the lots so that they could just be there naturally. So the tree that he had cut down was actually about 100 years old, and he did a really awesome job documenting this tree's life and making a table out of it. It is an end grain cookie, and each of the rings are counted, or the groups of rings are counted all the way back to the date that it was planted. So that's an awesome build. I highly encourage you to check that one out. It's a lot of creativity and kind of working as you go kind of mentality, which I really like to see that. It's fun to see the whole process of what's going on in someone's mind as they're making something. Next up is the Conroy Table by Dustin. This table is a replica of George Nakashima's Conoid desk, which Dustin found by searching online. The top is a white oak slab and the base is air-dried black walnut from a local tree. And then all the panels are book matched. Awesome work on this. Love all the grain in this thing, of course. Next up is a crib by Mark. This is made from Solus Apili, and it is all Morrison tenon joinery. Mark and I had emailed back and forth for a while on different ways to have this thing come apart, and he settled on doing the same brass pins that I had done on my crib. So what have I been up to this week? Well, I did a little bit of work on my trim. I got the casing all profiled. Whoop. The casing is all profiled, and I removed that little bit of material on the outside that was supporting the trim as it went through the router. And now I'm working on sanding all of these things. I have just one stick of this sanded and ready for finish, and I still have like at least 10 more to go. Now this week, because we had Easter weekend in there, both sides of my family were in town, so that means my dad was here and we were out back in the backyard with the chainsaw mill doing some slabbing. Let me show you what we got done with that. So my stack of logs is quite smaller. You can see I'm just working on this last cut for this butternut log here. And these logs were from back in September. I went out with Dima and picked up a couple of butternut trees that were pretty bad shape. The owner wanted them cut down because they were so rotted out that he was figured they were going to fall over anyway. And I'm surprised I didn't, because most of them are really hollow and there really wasn't a whole lot left of these logs. But you know, normally people would probably cut these in the firewood, but I figured since I went out and got them, I might as well cut them anyway and see what I would get. So I've got some spalted butternut, you know, some spots that are unusable, but there's a nice little piece right there for something. So I have a whole bunch of that, and here's some of the smaller logs. This is a mix of butternut as well. This is some butternut on top. And then there are some smaller walnut logs. This is all walnut here that I cut as well. That was from back in October, the first time I took out the trailer and tried out the lift. And here are the stacks. So we got through a bunch of this maple, or two of these maple logs this weekend, and these are the ones that I cut last week and got stacked myself. That's that walnut tree from that video I did back in the fall. Here's that red oak log from like a year ago. And then finishing up here, got the rest of this ash log cut and stacked. But I got those back in November. That was the first time I took out the log lift with the new mounts. So that's about all I have for you this week. As always, links to everything I talked about today and some things that I didn't are down in the description. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I appreciate those, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.